everyone, welcome to Find Your Flow. I'm Natalie and today's practice is all about some attention for the arms, a mindful strengthening upper body practice. So hop onto your mat and I will meet you there. We're going to start our practice lying down on the ground today. Yay! So everybody make your way down there and bring the soles of the feet to the mat. Walk them a little bit wider so the knees can fall in toward one another. And as we just rest the hands on the belly, feel that lower back space soften down towards the ground. And feel into your mat rising up to connect to your back body and every space that's touching down on the earth. Closing your eyes and just send in a moment of appreciation towards yourself for being here, because the hard part's over. You've chosen this video, you're on your mat. Let your attention come to your breath, and we'll just begin by sending a few loving breaths in through the nose. Loving breath out through the nose. And just adding a bit of awareness to the feeling of our breath. Just slowing it down ever so slightly while still keeping it natural, not forcing it in any way. Just begin to fully arrive on your mat. As although you're here physically, sometimes our mind can often be wandering away into the rest of our day, into what we've done so far today, wherever it is. I invite you to use your breath as an anchor to arrive here. And finding one more big breath in through the nose. But this time open the mouth and sigh your exhale out. Flutter the eyes open and lift the hands off the belly. Just send them towards the sky and begin to circle through the wrists. Send them in both directions. And then interlace the hands and keeping the wrist nice and soft, bring the heel of the hands together and just send them around, and like a figure 8, infinity symbol sort of motion here. We're just encouraging some movement to this space because our upper body, obviously, we mainly think about our biceps and triceps and shoulders when we think of upper body, but we use our wrists all the time. So it's important just to send lots of love and care to those as well. And then as you float to center, just shake it out, release the hands. And planting the feet to parallel. Arms down by our sides. Really rooting down through the soles of the feet, spread through the toes. As we begin to peel our tailbone and then each vertebra of our spine off our mat, we'll reach our arms all the way up towards the sky and then towards the back of the mat behind us as the hips lift. Nice. And then as the hips lower, bring the arms back down by your sides. Just begin to roll up and down, awakening through the spine, but adding a little extra movement here in the shoulders. So moving here with your own breath, keeping it really soft and easy. We're just easing and inviting our body into some gentle movement here. A couple more times, rolling all the way up. And all the way down. Last one. And then coming to meet here with the knees hugging in towards you, bringing the hands to the hamstrings, chin towards the chest, and start to roll all the way up and down the length of your spine. Take a couple more rolls here and then come to jump straight through to a tabletop position. But right away as we arrive in tabletop, we'll walk our knees a little further back, hands further forwards, and send our heart space all the way down towards the ground. Anahata Asana, heart to earth pose. I'm just taking a few breaths here, really opening through this upper back body, shoulder space, opening through the heart. Awesome. Keep the hands where they are. Lift up and roll straight through. Bring the belly down to the ground and float the forearms onto your mat. We'll find our Sphinx pose. Taking the feet a little wider. Elbows beneath the shoulders. And as we press down through palms and forearms, send that heart space forward. Keeping the head and neck in extension of the spine. So just mindful we're not collapsing down or crunching up. Looking to invite in this loving long line all the way from tailbone to crown. From here, bump the left shoulder to center, gaze past your right. Bumping right shoulder to center, gaze past your left. And as you float all the way back to center, we're going to start to slightly hug in our tummy as we flatten through the lower back. Tuck our toes under and actively pressing our heels away as the thighs lift off the mat. We find a forearm plank. Now keeping this awareness in the forearms and the palms as they press down actively, but also really engaging the lower body as the heels kick away to add a little connection to our center. We'll just be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Walk the knees to the earth and sit straight back in a child's pose. Find your own version of child's pose as always. So maybe the knees are wide, toes together, arms reach forwards. Or you can bring knees together and arms behind you. Just find whatever works. Lift your head a little higher if you need to with a prop, just so it's not hanging. And then nice and slow, we'll rise up. Just take a moment to roll through the shoulders one way and then the other. And then we'll jump our way forwards into either a high or a low plank. Now, there's no point in rushing straight to a high plank if when we start to move our form worsens and we start to maybe collapse in our back or our arms go a little bit skew-if. So I encourage you, if you're still working on your practice, particularly in the upper body, bringing the knees to the ground in a low plank is a great place to grow your practice, a really, really sturdy foundation to move from. So we're either here in a low plank, knees together, shoulders over the wrists, or we're tucking the toes and sending the heels away in a high plank. Wherever we are, just mindful that we're not locking in the elbow joint, mindful that the hips aren't dropping all the way down to the ground, or we're not finding too much of a big bend in the knees. And then taking a look at the hands and really spreading through the fingers. We underestimate the importance of our hands in our plank position. So really spreading and pressing into each of the fingertips. Don't forget the thumb. And then from here, very slightly shift forwards. Everybody hug the elbows in towards the rib cage, lower halfway down. Press all the way back up. Nice. We're going to do that 4 more times. Lower halfway down. Press all the way back up. So we're either here or here, halfway down. All the way back up. Nice. 2 more times. Notice that we're still breathing here. Last time, hover down, hover down, hover down. And release fully. Nice. Take the feet wider. Walk the hands out to the sides. And on your next exhale, open the heart, shine it forwards, hover hands off the ground. And keep breathing here as we float the fingertips towards our glutes and just tapping the glutes if we can, or the sides of the legs. And then keeping the heart shining forwards as the arms reach out wide and towards the front of the mat. Nice. Moving here a couple more times. Swinging the hands all the way around. Keep energy to the fingertips. Strengthening the back body. Nice. Keeping the toes on the earth if we can. Come all the way round and up in front one last time. And then release. Hands back by the rib cage. Lightly press your way up and straight into a child's pose. Bring attention back to your breath. And then we'll rise up into a tabletop position. So in tabletop, we've got our wrists beneath our shoulders and our knees beneath our hips. We'll keep our palms pressing into the ground so we're not collapsing into our shoulder space. And then tuck in our toes under. We're going to hover our knees off the ground, just an inch or two. It doesn't have to be a really, really big lift here. Then adding movement as we walk out one leg and then the other. And then walk it all the way back in. Nice. We're going to swap sides, walking out. So try and walk out with the opposite leg each time if you can. Keep that connection to our center. Tummy button slightly hugging in toward the spine. Nice. Next time you walk it up, stay there. And this time, rather than elbows hugging into the side body, we're going to send them out to the side, lower down. Knees just hover off the earth and then press up 2 more times. Keep breathing. Elbows out to the side and rise. Last time, keep the knees just hovering off and then press up. Come to sit back on the legs. Whew, and give the arms a little bit of love. If you notice you held your breath for that whole flow, don't worry, just come back and consciously inhale and exhale. Now we can take a moment in a child's pose here if we'd like to, or we can plant our palms in front, tuck the toes, and send the tailbone high in our downward facing dog. So just find whatever works for you. Maybe you really enjoy a wiggle here. Nice, and then wherever you are, we'll just come to meet back in our tabletop position. So walking our way into our plank position, we're either on the knees or keeping the feet lifted. The knees lifted, sorry. Feet lifted will be very impressive with our knees off the ground. We're going to find that chaturanga press up practice again. So hugging the elbows back in towards the rib cage, lower halfway down. Nice. Rise all the way back up. We'll do this 2 more times. This time as you press up, bring your left hand to the center. Rock onto the edges of the knees or to the edges of the feet. Find your version of a side plank. We can reach our right arm up to the sky. Maybe it reaches out in front. We might want to keep it very much on our hip. And we'll just find a few breaths here. Option of adding on, dipping hips down and lifting up. 2 more times if you're dipping the hips. Nice. Lovely. And then as you float back to center, bring the opposite hand down now. Find your version of side plank on the other side. And either stay very much where you are, or 3 times we'll dip the hips. Keep on breathing, a softness in the face. Whenever you're ready, come back to your plank position, knees lifted or lowered. Find 1 more big breath here. And then knees to the earth. Take your version of a child's pose. From here, inhale fully through the nose and open your mouth. Exhale, sigh it out. Just lift the wrists wherever they are and just give the hands a little gentle roll here. And as we come to rise up to the knees, either stay here or find another comfortable seat. Maybe cross-legged works a little bit better for you. Wherever you are, we'll reach our right arm forwards and cross it over towards the left side. We'll just bring our left hand onto our right arm and gently press the hand away onto the forearm as we take our gaze to the right side. Breathing fully here. On your next exhale, float back to center. Cross the left arm in front and then over, taking the right hand to the left forearm. We'll then gaze over to the left side. Letting the shoulders soften. And as you exhale, come back to center. Nice. Bringing the hands onto the thighs or the knees. As you next breathe in, send the heart space towards the sky, lift your gaze. As you breathe out, chin floats towards the chest, round through the back body. 2 more times. Option to close the eyes. Inhale, open the heart, lift the gaze. Exhale, roll and round it through. Really exaggerate this movement. Last time, seated cat-cows. And as you float back to a neutral spine, just bring the opposite hand onto the opposite arm. And give your arms a literal rub here. Some actual love. Almost giving yourself a mini hug. Take a moment to really, really give thanks to this space for everything it's allowed you to do today, but everything it's always allowing us to do. And release. Hands either onto your legs or float palms to the heart in Anjali Mudra. And wherever we are, finishing our practice here, bowing head towards our heart. As we breathe in, inhale a wave of gratitude, spread it all the way through your body. And as you exhale, let your muscles relax and release. I thank you all for joining me today, from my heart to yours. Namaste.